Well, this was expected. This is what the Congolese people, one of the few things that the Congolese people have been pushing for and fighting for nearly 3 years now. It's a victory for our people. Your viewer would remember that we have been protesting, we have been fighting Mr. Kabila since January of 2015, a day which Mr. Kabila tried to change the constitutions, and our people took to the street, and 44 of our brothers and sisters were gunned down, killed by Mr. Kabila's people. But in spite of that, in spite of his guns, we have continued to fight him, and we have won today. And this is an amazing victory that Mr. Kabila is not going to present himself, but the fight is not over yet, because the election as things stand is still far from perfect, and it's not going to, it doesn't seem like it's going to be free, fair, or transparent. So because of that, in spite of the fact that Mr. Kabila said he's not going to present himself as a candidate, we still believe that a way forward remains a civilian transition without Kabila or any politician, led by an independent voice like Denis Mukwege, to organize free, fair, and transparent elections.
So, Vava, let's look at the role which civil society has played in ensuring that the political climate in the DRC turns out to what it is today. I mean, we can talk of, I mean, for instance, the Catholic Church has been very, very central in trying to get things right in the DRC.
Mm-hmm. And the Catholic Church has made its position quite clear, which is one of the position was, which is the position every Congolese take, is that Mr. Kabila cannot present himself. And Mr. Kabila has given to on that point, but there remains other issues. One of the issues is these elections were supposed to be inclusive. For it to be free, fair, and transparent, every single person should be allowed to take part. We know that Mr. Katumbi has been prevented by Mr. Kabila from presenting his candidacy. So that on itself already has an impact on the legitimacy and on the fairness of these elections. But there are also other issues. All the key opposition figures are still in prison, in Mr. Kabila's prison. So those have also been prevented from presenting their candidacy. There is an issue of the electronic voting system. There is an issue of around 10 million voters who are not regular voters, which have been registered Mr. Kabila's people. So there are many other key issues which we believe compromises the freeness of these elections. It's because of that, because we understand Mr. Kabila is doing this on purpose so that he can remain somehow in control. This is why we are still pushing for the idea of a civilian transition without Mr. Kabila or any opposition, led by an independent voice, so that we can organize an election that would truly be free, fair, and transparent. And that's the only way to prevent further violence and further crisis.
What risk does the electronic system pose really to the outcome or even to the entire process of elections?
No, for a start, it's not on the electoral roll or electoral laws or our constitution. This was something which was imposed on us. And as things stand, not a single Congolese politician or civil society figure has been given access to this machine to be told, okay, this is how this machine functions, this is how the information is going to be transferred from point A to point B. But crucially, your viewers would remember what happened in Kenya over the electronic voting system, how that election was rigged and how the election was cancelled. And so because of all of these issues, but crucially as well, your viewers would remember as well that the current candidate of Mr. Kabila has put forward is a man who had been blacklisted by the EU over crimes committed against the Congolese people. Now imagine a president who defines himself to be legitimate decide to put forward a man responsible for the killing of over 200 pro-democracy activists between December 2016 to when he left his position as the Minister of Interior. That is not a man we want to run our country. And Mr. Kabila is doing all of these things on purpose. This is the same reason why he had appointed blacklisted military and police figure into the army or into the police force. The way forward, look, this election is incredibly crucial. This is the biggest fight for democracy in Africa since the end of apartheid. And we need to get it right. And we know under Mr. Kabila, we can possibly not get it right. This is why we want him to go, all of him and his entire team. We want a civilian transition so that we can organize free, fair, and transparent elections. And we have someone that every Congolese trusts who can lead that transition and organize those elections. And that man is Denis Mukwege.
Let's talk about Moise Katumbi. Has he managed to register as a candidate? And if not, what does the future hold for him?
Well, this is a massive issue for many of us. I mean, Mr. Katumbi left the country because his life was under threat, and then the Congolese government or Mr. Kabila's regime decided essentially to pass a sentence against him in absentia. Now, he decided to come back, accepted that he's going to face the justice system in Congo, but in spite of that, in spite of all of it, he was not allowed to travel and to land in his own country or to even cross the borders. So we have one man who has not committed a single crime or war crimes or crimes against humanity being prevented from coming back. And then we have, on the other hand, someone like Jean-Pierre Bemba, a former warlord responsible for atrocities in Congo and atrocities in Central Africa, being allowed to return freely and present his candidacy. Those preferential treatment are the things that are affecting, that concerns us. This is why we are saying that we cannot trust Mr. Kabila. It doesn't make sense that Mr. Katumbi is being prevented for no absolute reason. These elections, as things stand, there is nothing to believe they're going to be free, fair, or transparent. And if they're not free, fair, or transparent, it's going to have a massive impact on the legitimacy of the election and even more crisis and more violence. Because of those reasons, that we are pushing for the idea of the election being organized by a transition team without Mr. Kabila or any opposition figure.